Hey guys, Kyle Hansen here, and today I'm starting a two-part video of how to travel with a compound bow. Now the reason I'm doing two parts to this video is because I think there's really two different parts of traveling with a compound bow. The first part is how to prepare the bow prior to even traveling, or preparation phase. The second phase of that would be actually putting the bow in the case. But there's a lot of things that need to happen before the bow even goes into the case, in my opinion. So today I'm going to go over components that I select, knowing that my bow needs to be travel friendly. I'm also going to go over what I call travel proofing my bow and all the reference marks I make on the bow. You're going to need two different tools for that. You're going to need a couple of Sharpies, a silver and a black, as well as a basic Allen wrench kit that you can pretty much get at any pro shop around. And I'm also going to go through all the different components on the bow that need to be tightened as well. The reason I go through this process is because, one, everything being tight, that's just a no-brainer. And it's good just to go through and check that before you leave so you have a baseline to build off of once you get there. But then the trip proofing portion, I go through and I put markings with a silver and a black Sharpie on multiple different critical areas of the compound bow. So I got my Hoyt RX1 here, and I'm going to show you the marks that I put on the cams, the sight, as well as the rest. So that way I can get back to the baseline that I left home with. But to start out with, I wanted to show you guys the components that you should consider for your bow if you know that you're going to travel for it. And those are really simple. Say for example, I usually choose a dovetail style sight because it's really easy to take on and off for putting it in and out of the case and getting back to a pre-established baseline. I also like to choose a quick detached bar. Say for example, I have just some Hot Rods Western Hunter bars here, but I have it on a Bee Stinger quick detach 1-inch spacer there. And then I also, on my back bar, I have a gripper with a quick detach. You see that just comes off real easy there. And that's just an efficiency thing. And really everything that I do as far as trip checking my bow, it's just for efficiency, because when I get somewhere, like say for example, I'm getting ready to go do a 3D shoot out of state, and when I get there, if there's something wrong with my bow, I want to be able to check all these reference points real quick, as well as the fact that I'm going to have to take my bow partially apart to get it in the case. And I want to be able to get it back together relatively quickly, because I don't want to mess around with my bow when I travel out of state. I just want to go use it. So let's dive into the other spots. All right, so the first thing that I like to mark when I travel proof my bow is I like to mark the sight. Now what I do is I just put a little dot there. That tells me exactly which one of these little detents that I was in that I was sighted in for prior to leaving. So after doing that, what I like to do is I like to go through and I put a little mark. As you can see there, I put a little silver dot that touches both the rest and the riser on the bow. Now after that, I like to mark the cams. So I'll show you here. You can see I put a little mark there on both the top and bottom cam with a silver Sharpie. That way, as soon as I get my bow out of the case, I can go ahead and check, make sure the strings didn't get all broken up and stretched out or something. And then last, but especially not least, is the peep. You can see there on the peep, I went ahead and put two black marks there on the lighter side of the string. And what that shows me is if I see that string color on either side of where it's served in, that means it's been shifted in travel. All right, so now I've shown you the different components that I like to put on my bow that are most travel friendly. I've gone over how I like to trip proof my bow prior to it even going in the case. And then also you need to go through and make sure that all of the hardware on all of the components and on the bow itself are tight. To do that, you're just going to need the Allen wrench. I'm not going to go through and show you how to do that, but there are several areas on your sight that need to be tight. There are multiple spots on your rest that need to be tight. If you have a rear offset bracket, you want to make sure that's tight. You want to make sure that your spacer here is tight. You want to make sure that the mods on your cams are tight. Now this can vary a little bit from bow to bow, but that's what needs to be tight here on the RX-1. So that concludes this video. On the next video, I'm going to be breaking down the bow, and it's going to be going in the case for travel. I'm going to show you how I package my bow, the type of case I use, and how I pack the arrows, as well as all the components for the arrows and the accessories. And that'll be it.